Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Well, that sounds okay. I don't know why it doesn't sound right to me. I'm going to check our sound. There we go. There we go. Now I can hear myself. Okay. So, how are you? So we had a little bit of movement last night. So the E-mini futures are up a little bit. Only a little bit. They're still kind of where they were at near noon yesterday. And Treasuries, as a result, have come down a little bit. Is that right? Because I seem to recall them having a very hard time at 110. Oh, okay. Yes, that's where they were. And then they came back to there. So we're still in a range. And where's our bull bear zone in ZB? So we are still below 08. Oh, 08 to 12, right? So we'll make note of that. Oh, we had a little bit of a move down last night in Bitcoin, but nothing too huge. And then I'm double check, but my recollection is. Let's get the live clock on. Yes. My recollection is that we don't really have any significant news this morning. Tuesday. No, we have a Fed speaker at 10. So yeah, this could be very tight.
I'm tweeting more regarding the French President Macron's approval rating now.
Yes, so I was just reading his tweet. Oh man, he's really going. So he started, Emmanuel Macron suggests building its own army to protect Europe. Well, let's get the links first. Let's do that first. Where is my... Oh, I have it. Okay, let's move this out of the way. He's just apparently extremely bothered by Macron and is responding to him and is just going full bore into the guy. Here's the links. Here's the Twitch. And here is... Oh, no, not that one. Here's the futures. Okay. Sorry, YouTube. Okay, so what did he say? He said, Emmanuel Macron suggests building its... Oh, he's just tweeted again. Make France great again. Emmanuel Macron suggests building its own army to protect Europe against the US, China, and Russia, but it was Germany.
Apple 200 months now, 222.
But it was Germany in World War I and II. How did that work out for France? That they were starting to learn German in Paris before the US came along, pay for NATO or not. On trade, France makes excellent wine, but so does the US. The problem is that France makes it very hard for the US to sell its wines into France and charges big tariffs, whereas the US makes it easy for French wines and charges very small tariffs. Not fair, must change. The problem is that Emmanuel suffers from a very low approval rating in France, 26%, and an unemployment rate of almost 10%. He was trying to get onto another subject. By the way, there is no country more nationalist than France. Very proud people, and rightfully so. Make France great again. Well, that is interesting. But it shows that he was bothered, I guess, by what Macron said about him at that conference. Okay, well, so here's the open. Some buying, but not through. And not a ton in the 5-year. Well, this is a more interesting opening than we got yesterday, that's for sure. What are they gonna do? Okay, they tick down. I think I can take it short safely. So I got all my stars are lined up. Okay. Well, I still have some food, so we'll just sit and see if that works out.
It's Nigel Dodds on the meeting today. Girls saying Italian government. Some more from that had cabinet ministers expecting the new text of the backstop to be sent back to London later today, according to the cabinet will then be asked to approve it state or state the cited.
Block by
Well, so that was really interesting and unfortunately against us, but having a block buy there is kind of a little early for them to be doing something like that. And he did it when they were really trying to push it back. The 5 year is not going, but it looks like somebody really wants to buy this.
Keeping an eye on Trump here as he tweets again.
By the way, when the helicopter couldn't fly to the first cemetery in France because of almost zero visibility, I suggested driving. Secret Service said no, too far from airport and big Paris shut down. Speech next day at American cemetery in pouring rain, little reported fake news. He's pissed. He sounds pissed to me. Okay, there he goes. He took 12. So the problem is just that where we're at, it's super hard to take a trade. So we're still in the VWAP, and our risk reward just isn't super great. Oh. Yeah. It seems like somebody wants it to go up. They had a little bit of a hard time getting people to buy it, but I'm also weary about hitting into these low prices sometimes. Oh. Um.
US news with the trade talks to resume out the one regular auto tariffs.
He makes a compelling case. John just telling me I should move the chat window off on the video. There's timestamps on the chat. Well, no, but if I want to look back like a week from now and I want to know what they were saying in Discord, there's no way to do that without the little window on the screen. Yeah, just a thought. Well, if there's a better, if you guys have a better spot for it, I mean, I can move it. Like, I can go here. I could put it down here. Maybe that's a little better. Yeah. I mean, I guess there's not, well, then you get that. You can still see the DOM. 5-year is important, though. I don't know. It's a tough call. Something gets covered up either way, right? Now, I have thought, one of my thoughts has been, consolidating things down again. No, he's typing. I want to hear what he says. Overall, things are pretty quiet today. I'm still thinking. I know that we had some big buying through there, and that's some very strong indications of trend. And I am very concerned that the E-mini is going to sell today, and that they're going to try and invalidate this inverse head and shoulders. I think that's a real possibility. But we've got consumer price index information tomorrow, so the bonds are going to be hesitant to move super strong. In fact, there they ticked it down, and a decent amount of liquidity covered on 13. It's interesting. You just need to buy a 4K monitor. Well, this one is a 3K. I really want. So
Saying very intensive Brexit negotiations are ongoing. We are making progress.
I'll show you here. I've got so I've got these speakers, right? And the monitor kind of covers up the speakers. And so what I need one that's like a double stacker, you know?
Brexit is by far a preferred option, but prepare for all options.
I want to get a second monitor like the one I have, and then double stack it so that it doesn't cover up the monitors. And then, except for that, this monitor was pretty expensive. So that's the pipe dream for the future. But I don't know. But I was thinking, and this goes back to this constant thought, which is how productive is gambling in the E-mini? Because right now, I have a pretty good feel for spots. I can take a trade and I can usually get at least 4 ticks out of it. Usually much more, and sometimes I really catch long ones. Um, but I don't really have any kind of feel for the larger time frame. So like I'll take one and I'll make 200 on it, but then I don't really know if it's going to stop there and turn back around or if it's going to go through or what. And sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't. So it's like the Dom rating is good. Dom rating is good. It's just it's really hard, especially in the E-mini, I think, to make money just off of that. So then the thought is, well, should I really even bother, or should I just focus on treasuries? Because when I start trading my live account again, I'm not going to trade the E-mini. I just don't have a large enough account for that, and it's probably going to be a very long time, years and years and years until I would have the money to feel confident even taking shots in the E-mini. So then, should I just stop messing around with it? And I also have these columns right here. Um, what are these? These stacking and pulling columns, which are nice, but they're not always. They don't always tell you something. I guess they're telling me something interesting right now, right? There's some stacking below us.
Has not been finalized. So Liddington saying the withdrawal agreement has not been finalized.
So my take on this is that we took a tick down, and that a few guys went short. Now that doesn't mean that it's going to go down there, but it does seem like there's people on both sides of this trade. Yeah. Um, Anyways, but I could get rid of those columns, and I could get rid of the order columns here on the E-mini and the S&P 500 so that I'm not tempted to ever click on it and distract myself with E-mini trades. And if I did that, I would have a lot more room, wouldn't I? And then I could potentially put up another column, or like I could put the ultra bond up there, for instance. These columns are useful, but they're not like super amazing or anything, so I could consolidate up there too. But because I do understand that oops, this thing right here, I mean, there is interest from those of you guys watching my stream on the E-mini, and this thing right here is the best way to look at it. I mean, the DOM, obviously I prefer the DOM, but especially that cumulative delta is really useful. Really useful. I don't know. So think about it. If you guys have comments, you put it in the YouTube chat. That 6K offer almost made me exit ZN. The one at 130.
So saying still going. People's Debt Agency chief saying Italy's less exposed to external shocks despite its high. If and when a withdrawal agreement comes forward, rate in part should have access to go on and to detailed analysis of it. Publishing
Mm. Yeah. Camo pointing out that there was a 6K offer at 130 when we ticked down, and when we ticked back up, it pulled. Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, there's probably a lot of things I could do on the screen. Like I could probably, well, how would I do this? I'd probably do something like if I open this up and why do I add it? To add like a, let's see here. Um Window capture. Now create new window. Oops, I got rid of the wrong one. Oh well. You can tell it to capture a portion of the screen, right? Image game display. No, that's not it. Are they ever going to trade? Oh, they did. They did trade into 130 and they pulled back. Hmm. See, there's that. But I only want it to show a certain section of it.
Hearing from Secretary Ross here, saying he will serve as long as
Nope. Hmm. Well, we could do something. I'm not quite sure what it is, but I'm thinking I could have a big.
need just more context for you to comment that Brexit talks good progress, but actually Barnier private meeting.
But I think you can set it up to show just a section of a window, and I could have a big number right there, or maybe I could use maybe I could make a browser source, or maybe I could convince Pete to make a browser source. That would be interesting. Let's see here. Let's do it over here. I mean, this could be a short opportunity at 13, but I can't take that. No way. Especially not now that we're above 12. So if this continues to go up, this is just going to have to do it without me. Yeah. Trying to watch too many markets just leads to overloading my brain and distracting me from what I want to trade. I know, right? It's just so well. So like right now is a really good example, right? So so we're moving up. It's pretty strong.
Hearing from Peter Foster on Twitter, as per Stephen Swinford, there are still one or two small areas to fix regarding Brexit, but we wait for the cabinet to be called to decide. Essentially, new mechanism, Irish backstop, really does create some kind of exit clause for the UK. Cabinet has a high bar on this.
I find Brexit headlines so boring. Anyways, so I feel like my risk reward here buying at 130 at the top of the profile, I'm and because it's being really slow, it's not really, I mean, it's
You're
acting
hoping
like it's a strong trend but not going.
to the private commission. Apparently, he told
So like, do um I don't see a trade for me here. Maybe it's a good trade and I'm going to regret not buying it, but based on my look at the risk reward, if I had gotten long here, what, I made the wrong choice, and now who knows, and so I don't think it could take a long. I could potentially take a short, but so this is kind of a point where I would be tempted to take a trade, and it might not be a good trade, and so I'm kind of trying to distract myself. And I could say, like, you could short it at 130, but you might only get 2 ticks out of it. So if the market is really, really slow, then maybe it's better to go over to the E-mini and trade the E-mini, right? But then I'm not good at the E-mini and you distract yourself, and it probably is better to just focus on the one. I don't know. I'll always keep it up for you guys, of course, because I know that a lot of you guys that watch on the YouTube, you really care more about the E-mini because it's the glitzy one. You know, it's glamorous, but really, Treasuries is the one that I think you want to look at. So we keep it up there. Um, but I could certainly consolidate things and add Yubi. I think that having Yubi on here would be nice. Yeah, it's pretty slow. Glamorous, like dropping your wallet in a wood chipper or a meat grinder. So we were talking the other day about how I always compare the different instruments to like their girls you're trying to date or something. So then the question is, we have a pretty good setup for the the bass instruments. With the 30 years kind of more of a redhead, and the 5 years kind of more of a blonde, and the 10 years more of a brunette. But then what would the E-mini be? And I've decided that the E-mini is kind of like that really glamorous but super professional looking girl. Like she has a big career and she's a very, very demanding girl. And you got to know what you're doing, because if you don't know what you're doing, she's just gonna take everything you have. That's kind of how I look at the E-mini. It's the one that everybody wants to go to, but she just chews right through them and spits them out. Similar to oil, except for that oil is just crazy. She's the girl that will slash your tires, man. Don't trade oil. Oil is crazy. You can lose a lot of money very, very quickly trading oil. By the way, this oil thing, because oil's been going down so much this month, the consumer price index tomorrow is going to be very, very interesting to see what it is without energy in there, right? Because it's going to be down with energy in, but so it's going to be the core number without energy that's going to be interesting. And I suspect, given how I think what might happen is producers saw an increase, but they're not increasing prices on consumers, which means that they're just eating it in their profits. That would be really bad for the E-mini. And or if it's high, and then that means that it is going through to consumers, and that's maybe even worse. Although I don't know if that means treasuries go down because I don't know. I feel like they should be down off of that high inflation number, and they're not. So there they took 12 half now. Kama still thinks it's going to go to 19. We could get a VWAP bounce. We could do. It's 092. So that VWAP price in the 5-year. Okay. Okay, they took that one pretty easily too. Looks like the E-mini is in charge. They're very sensitive to the E-mini this morning, I think. Okay. So some pushback at 11. But we're now back to also 08. 08 is the price in ZB. Hmm. What's this? I don't see any news on the docket, but they definitely pulled off some liquidity there. Do I have my time frames wrong? Because I have that not for an hour. Yeah. Yeah, okay, he's right. It is for an hour from now. Well, the 5 year is telling us now that that might be the end of that move. It's curious. It did not take much volume at all to come down here. And they've really absorbed a lot at 11. It's probably too late to get filled. Hmm. So the 5 year ticked up. They're not trading into 095. Hmm. So the problem I have now, you look at the E-mini, they could come back up to here. And what if they do decide they can buy today? Then we're hitting the bottoms of this, right? It was also quite a tricky setup up here. They really bought it up and then it just never did anything and came back down very quickly. That makes me, when you get a failure like that the chances, well,
Ginsburg here saying MPs have been told government abstaining on the legal advice vote.
the chances that it reverses back up to here are fairly low, but the times when it would happen are days like today, where it would just stay range bound. So I don't know if that trade is worth a shot. But you got in 110 maybe. It could be taking 2 or 3 out of it. I didn't catch that one either, so just got to stay patient.
We are seeing Germany's Merkel on the wires at the EU Parliament.
So it's kind of the same thing from before, isn't it? When it came down, it was very fast, and now that they've caught it and it's moving back up again, it's being really slow. Kind of hoping that it just stays slow until the E-mini opens and then gives us a really good opportunity. Once the E-mini makes it a little bit more clear which way it wants to go. So Ace Trades is going short the E-mini again, huh? Right there at 27.37. They got this spot right here, 27.33.75. There's a lot of imbalance back at that spot. Did they leave unfinished? No, they didn't leave it unfinished down there. They are leaving it unfinished at 27.40 though. I don't know. The other thing I wonder is when it started, it looked like there was somebody on both sides. And maybe the guy that wants to go short kind of just let off on it a little bit and said, okay, fine, do your thing. And then when it didn't go anywhere, then he took it his turn and went down and he got what he wanted. And the E-mini could fight here in the open. Well, we got a good 15 minutes here and we're stuck in the middle of the bull bear zone. And we didn't, by the way, we bounced off the bottom of the bull bear zone at 138.08. So that does not favor a short. It's really unclear about whether we go up or down. To me, at least. I do see why Ace trades went short, though. And the question is just for how much. That's the thing that I can't tell. Hmm. A guy can feed his family off 2 points a day if you have enough contracts. 2 full points. That's okay. So that's $100 per contract, right? Mm-hmm. So if you are only going for eight ticks, basically, how much risk do you take on?
We have put a link on our board where you can tune in live to see Merkel speak on the future of Europe.
Okay, so Merkel is speaking. That is maybe why they pulled. I don't really want to listen to her. Four ticks. Okay. So you're taking 2 to 1. Okay, that's interesting. Alright. You always gotta run and go make breakfast. Okay, we'll see how it goes.
$2 billion in its share buyback.
See, because the problem I've been having in the E-mini is I get in there and I'm like, seems to me like 8 ticks risk is not enough. But I do very often get 4 to 8 ticks profit, so it's not like can't be done. And it has been a really, really volatile market lately too. Yeah. But like yesterday it was a big day, right? So the problems that I was having is probably a lot more to do with just the craziness that's been going on. But when it gets more range bound, 8 ticks is probably a good trade. When I first started looking at the E-mini, I remember my goal was I would let it. I had it. Oh, actually, it was that's really interesting. I was I was going for 4 points because I was taking like 4 contracts, and that was $1,000. I often cover the trade and then let it run for as much more. Yeah, I got you. I guess now that the E-mini is much higher than it was, 4 points is worth a lot more. And they haven't really adjusted the tick size. Still 1250 a tick for the past, 8-10 years that I've been looking at it. They probably should change that because it's just putting more and more leverage on it. $50 per point. Yeah. So I was doing it when I did it on my spreadsheet. I would say I would take four contracts, and target was $1,000, and I would very very often went much more than that. Okay, holler if it breaks loose. Yeah, leave the speakers turned up really really loud. I don't think this is going to do anything until they open, personally. There's some aggressive buying there, though. So there's that. Aggressive buying, but as of yet, not making much progress. I'm not really sleepy. I'm sorry if my yawning makes you feel sleepy, or if looking at my face makes you feel sleepy. I'm totally awake here. This is riveting action. The yeah, you know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it, guys. I'm gonna change it. Y'all ready for this? Gonna get rid of the snapshot column. And over here, we're gonna get rid of the order column. Get rid of the
Tories to abstain on Brexit legal advice vote, according to a government official.
And where's my UB?
That Tories to abstain on the Brexit legal advice vote, according to a government official.
So if I just put these to the corners, how much room did that give us? Oh, wow. Got tons of room. We probably even have enough for ZT, possibly. Kind of. Kind of do. I don't know.
Labour wants to force May to publish the Brexit legal advice.
Okay, so did she just say something? Or was it that caused them to go up? Okay, so I think I want... I think I want it on this one. We do have the room.
Equity News
like
Amazon
that.
to announce a major new investment in Nashville, according to Reuters sources. Apparently, it will be adding 5,000 new corporate jobs, according to Reuters sources on Amazon.
Okay. So let's try that. We can actually bring this in a lot. Like, don't need that. Doubt we're ever gonna get more than that. Go. Probably even with on the inside here. Oops. Okay. Like that. Okay, so the E-mini has taken a dive. Window. Ah, so CNN is suing the White House for barring Jim Acosta. I think this one is going to be interesting to watch play out. Merkel, Europe must one day create a real, true European army. European army wouldn't be directed against NATO. Oh, okay. I think. So here's my reading on that. Um, the French president said something stupid, and Merkel is now coming out and saying, we should have our own military, but it wouldn't be against NATO or anything like that. And I think she's doing a little bit of damage control here, and it makes the French president look really bad, I think, for her saying that. Could be wrong, but that's just my reading of it. I do have UB up here somewhere too, don't I? Like, what's this? That's ES. Here it is. Okay. Hmm.
Merkel saying the EU must act on tanks if global efforts fail.
So the problem I'm already seeing is that this setup. I wanted to be along there, but then I said the E-mini is going to open. So now when the E-mini opens, we gotta pay attention. But the thing I'm already noticing is sometimes I have to fix the cumulative deltas, and I might not have the button to be able to do that. To change it through here. Oh, I guess that works. Okay. Well, let's try it. And how does it look over here? Okay. Wow, 8,000. They just traded through it just like that? No big orders in it. At 13. Hmm. I'm gonna let them open. I don't like that the 097 in the 5 year. That's gonna keep me from going short. Okay, so here's the open. Oh, look at that. Somebody buying a crazy amount of contracts there. Well, they bought pretty aggressively on the open, but that's not the final say on it. Of course, so. Okay, it's hard selling there. Hard selling, but not doing much yet. Definitely digging in there, aren't they? Oh, watch! Look at the UB really going down. So I'm kind of leaning short, but I want to see a pullback of some sort. I want to see the sellers come in the E-mini because they're gonna try. They want this to go down. I mean, if this goes up today, then the bear case is just, from a technical standpoint, at least, is severely armed. See, the E-mini continues to push up, but it's very slow going still. I'm guessing. I don't know if our friend. No, I don't see anything. Ace did get his 2 points. So if he had everything set up in there right, he got what he was looking for. Okay, here's our pullback. So there was a lot absorbed at 11. On both sides here, in fact. E-mini is having a little bit of trouble here. This might be a short. I wonder if there's a way to change this margin so it's not so huge. Well, I didn't take a trade on it.
News Junker saying Brexit talks don't punish the UK.
Sure don't feel like it to people in the UK, from what I hear.
Will make the best of Britain's vote for Brexit.
Yeah.
The EU isn't an aggressive bid to.
Okay. I still don't feel like that the buyers in the E-mini have had their say on the price action yet. Like, we haven't really had any. Well, I guess there was this, but look at how far it went, right? So when you take this was from 12 to 9. So like 3,000 contracts up here, and they moved all of this, and then we got 1,500 contracts down, and it only made that. Also note that the 5 and the UB are continuing to kind of that continue to be heavy. Oh, I know what's wrong. Here we go. Okay.
Some Brexit news now, picking up on a piece from Business Insider saying that Theresa May's cabinet did meet this morning to discuss Brexit, with Downing Street sources saying there has been no breakthrough yet. I believe a Brexit deal could still be struck this week. Time is running out to meet the deadline for November EU summit, saying Business Insider. The EU has set deadline for the end of play on Wednesday for May to agree on a deal.
Nope. Okay, well that's interesting. So they hit into some liquidity there, and it's actually holding quite well. Yeah, that was a terrible call. Should have waited for it to go first. Hmm.
Bit of equity news now. Politico reporting that EU
Curious that I'm not getting filled there. The emus are looking like it's already found support again. Did a lot of delta came off there though.
Brexit news now from Deputy Leader Dodd saying like negotiators are in towards a compromise.
It's 6:53 in Q, man.
Information now on that earlier story breaking yesterday that Amazon has selected New Virginia.
Interesting. New York City is like the last place that I would have expected. The move in the E-menu is a little disconcerting. Let's see if this works out.
So in 10 minutes' time, we're expecting to hear from Kashkari. We'll be speaking at a regional economic conference on immigration. The opening remarks and take part in the Q&A with U.S. Senator Ron Johnson. The event is hosted at his bank with no text expected to be released. Again, a Q&A with the audience.
Q&A.
Well, we'll be hearing from Fed's Brainard, speaking about the artificial intelligence, the new financial landscape at a tech conference. Philadelphia Fed. Text of the speech will be released, but no Q&A following.
Okay. So I saw a little bit of pushback at 12. I'm just surprised that it come back that easily. Oh, I need to get rid of this. I don't want to keep that up there. Pick it out. Okay. Oh, hey, that's good. 18. And the E-mini took a little bit of a plunge there, so I think that they can go for further. Now, whether or not that pushes us up here to 13 is another question. Word of cautions to Treasury traders. Today could be a good day, especially if stocks continue to move lower, but I can already see some activity which may lead to back and forth whipsaw movement. Keep an eye out for bids and asks stacking and pulling, with maybe not much actually trading, and the spreads are in play. Bonds at low, notes nowhere near lows. That can also contribute to whipsaw chop. Good advice. Hmm. Well, the way that it's stacking and pulling it 11 half is really odd. And I think that it's mostly robots reacting to the E-mini. Okay, well, that's the best stack that we've seen at 12. Or let's say the best bid that we've seen at 12. Bring up the E-mini DOM again. Look at that. Okay. I got filled on my other contract. Nobody's hit 13 yet. I'm too afraid of it, huh? Well, there might be another step lower here in the E-mini. In fact, there's a pretty good probability that it's going to take another step lower in the E-mini.
In 3 minutes' time now, we expect carry as well from Fed's Brainard. Up on a tweet now from ITV's Robert Peston. For someone involved in the Brussels Brexit talks, all elements are there. The negotiation table is not cleared yet. It means that cabinet ministers read 500 pages of withdrawal agreement and 5 pages of outline future relationship tonight, suggesting that we'll be all seeing it tomorrow, so long as cabinet does not throw it out, which he doesn't expect. And at last, a real informed debate can begin about whether this is the Brexit the country actually wants. Again, from Robert Peston, ITV tweet. One minute.
Okay. I feel tense. Like it's like almost gonna go, and then it didn't. Look, now they tick down.
I was getting the Philly Fed forecasting survey now. The fourth quarter GDP growth seen at 2.6% against prior of 2.8%. US 2019 first quarter GDP growth seen at 2.4% against prior of 2.5%, while the payroll seen growing at an average 203,100 per month in the fourth quarter, versus prior of 173,300. Payroll seen growing average 172,400 per month in the first quarter, with fourth quarter unemployment rate 3.7% unchanged in the prior. First quarter of 2019 unemployment rate 3.7% unchanged. Core PCE inflation seen at 2%
Okay.
in the fourth quarter unchanged, and the core CPI inflation seen at 2.1% in the fourth quarter, against prior of 2.3%.
Okay. They didn't break through that last pivot,
Well,
but by the way,
no
it's
deal
still
Brexit,
unfinished
on
here.
wait for an-
Okay. So they busted the previous low, but just barely. And the treasuries aren't reacting to it as strongly as I would have hoped.
Mention next. EU Commission now planning no deal Brexit claim fix. Right. Planning no deal Brexit.
So I would really like to see that 12.5 absorb some contracts, but they're not doing it. Did not do it that time. See, the E-mini is pushing, the treasuries are reacting to it, but the correlation is not as strong as it was. So they're not getting anybody to trade into 13. They're pressuring it, but they're not going. I think we could see something really spectacular though if it happens. Look at the E-mini go. Okay. Finally. Okay, what happened there? That's not right. So I'm super confused because I had a cell there and it got filled, but it did not. Okay. So now, am I only one contract? Yes.
More Brexit news now. Sammy Wilson, the DUP's Brexit spokesman, saying no one has compromised the government's position, or the government itself, in these negotiations. It's now from the US Energy Secretary Perry. Russia has historically used energy as a coercive weapon. Sadly, that continues today.
Okay, so that move up in the E-mini was very impulsive. Test this if I. Okay. So I got it from here. Oh. So I'm still really confused.
Pick up on a tweet now from the Sun's Harry Cole. Whitehall rumour mill going into overdrive that a cabinet is coming tomorrow.
Block cell.
Where was that at? 115. What was where that guy initially bought? Let's see. Here, the E may turn around and sell here again. Hmm. Not the strongest bid, is it? But it stacks. It stacks and pulls. You can't really rely on these today, can you? And there was kind of a break there in the E-mini, and it did not act like a normal break. Okay, well, they're defending it. Hmm. That change right there, I think, is just the 5-year ticking up. Yeah. Now the E-mini is kind of pointing like they're gonna dump.
Bit of Canadian equity news now. Canada saying the ALX are manageable. Too early to say how ruling affects these. Lord Kunsberg now tweeting from BBC, a senior DUP source saying we are pleased the government has accepted have the votes for.
Now they're making a head and shoulders pattern. They can break the neck. Okay. Okay. Worked. It was a good one. Well, it's 821. Look at that. They're not trading into 13.5. I thought when I took that I was like, maybe I should extend it. But now I'm looking at it and I'm like, no, if I had held it, I think I should be taking it. Oh, that was a good one. Oh, look, they did take it. Why did I sell at 11 halves earlier? Very foolish, huh?
Bit of equity news now. Bloomberg reporting that Tesla is teaming up with General Motors and Nissan to lobby for extending the electrical vehicle tax credit during the congressional session.
I should have held that one. Are you guys still there? How we doing? I want to know, did Ace Trades, I don't know if he's back, but I wonder if Ace Trades, he probably took his profit on that earlier one, but I wonder if he, then after it came up, he decided to sell it again. Because, I don't know, this is playing out exactly the way that I was worried it might when we started, right? S&P 500 showing an inverse head and shoulders. Today, you want to buy it on the hopes that it breaks the neckline and we get a really good run into the December season. And the sellers are out in force today trying to prevent that from happening, rather. Now, they have not really had like huge success yet. They have not broken the overnight low. So that's important. But the way that the treasuries are going now, that scared them. They bought it up.
Comments now from EU officials saying the bloc's no-deal Brexit preparations are only aimed at remedying the most disruptive elements. There would still be disruptions.
So yeah. Man, so that was 1, 2, 3, 4 ticks? 5 ticks that I missed out on? I screwed up in it. I had some poor executions today. So like this first one, um, I took it, and I think that I had a reasonable theory going on there, and it didn't work. Okay, and I got out at -2. That's okay. Although I think it really should have been -1. Kind of same with this one. It was like they just moved really quickly against me, right? Now this one, I don't know what that was at 742. So where were we? 742. I don't know why I thought that we were gonna go for the low there, but I guess I thought that we were breaking out. That wasn't an acceptable place to go short, though, was it? Now, then there was a sell that I tried to get and I didn't get, right? And then I bought and I bought. Now these buys were good. Real good. This one was not actually 12 half. It was like I bought it originally um at 11, and I planned to sell at 13, and it didn't execute properly. I probably could have gotten both of those.
A general deal decision on deal at the end of February.
So there's two ticks in there that I probably should have had, but I screwed up the execution somehow, and I'm still confused.
Backstop is a practical solution for Brexit.
I'm still confused because when I come in here and I look at them, and like I had a limit at 13 to sell. It got filled. And I don't understand why it didn't, you know. Anyways. and it says in the positions that the maximum I was ever at was 2. So it filled an order and just didn't actually, the sim just didn't actually fill it. So there might be a problem with Jigsaw's simulator there. Anyways, so there's 2 more in that one, and then that one obviously was like +5. So it could have been a really good day, but I was still in okay. I mean, I was able to navigate it and come out positive. That's good. I'm happy about that. So I feel like late last week I was a little fatigued and making some poor decisions, and today I was a little bit more on the ball.
More from Varadkar that EU solidarity is private and wrong as is public.
They're taking it for sure. Now, where could this go to? What do we have? Some good targets above us. Okay. That one I really should have kept. That's funny. I've had so many times where I extended it and I didn't get it, and so I decided to take the +3. It's no shame in taking the +3, but I really thought that we were gonna that something was going on there with that Head and Shoulders in the E-mini. Really should have held on to it.
Comments now from IMF that Italy's planned fiscal stimulus will leave Italy vulnerable, may reduce growth in medium term. Elevated sovereign debt yield spreads persist. Any temporary growth gains from Italy's stimulus likely to be outweighed by risk. Could force major fiscal consolidation that leads to recession. It recommends instead that Italy undertake a modest and public debt on downward trajectory to reduce the financing costs, predicting Italy's fiscal deficit at 2.6% GDP in 2019, 2.9% of GDP in 2029. So again, it sees its Italy GDP up 1% annually through 2020, then lower. Italy's emphasis was welcome and still risky. Italy's debts remain around the 130% of GDP over the years. More IMF projects its Italian deficit at about 2.7% GDP in 2019.
Block by.
Well, shit. Wow.
UK debt management office now selling 500 million pounds worth of 0.125% six in. Or for Merkel that the spirit of hand Brexit is extremely poor. She does accept the decision of the British people. Merkel citing a need for a post-Brexit cooperation. Okay.
I don't know. So they are taking a pause here. Let's just take a picture of this. Well, they did not actually break the low, did they? I don't think they did. Nope.
Italian PM Conte now government is to work on reply to EU later at Tuesday. PM Conte saying that the government is to work on a reply to the EU later today.
Yeah, that head and shoulders signal more than played out.
EU deadline for reply on the budget.
I don't know. Man. Anyways, I'm just so totally kicking myself right now. I I thought I was did I even say anything? Because I was thinking like, oh, maybe I should pull it. No, I should take the profit and just get the +3 and not be greedy. But I saw the head and shoulders thing happening and I was like, this could run. Like my thought was, this could run, but because the correlation, it seems like the order flow is not actually pushing up in ZN, that I probably better take the profit. But then it was like, when it broke, and then all of a sudden the dam let loose and they finally went up the way that I thought they should have been going earlier. So I guess it's just kind of like a, you take a chance sometimes and you can get it. But woo. That was a big good trade. Suck. Okay, well, I'm gonna keep yapping to you guys and feeling sorry for myself, so I should probably just call it quits. I hope you guys did good. And yeah, CPI is tomorrow is gonna be huge, so I think we'll get good trading then. I will see